What you're about to hear is the truth about the faith you inherited, a faith shaped by men who removed the very foundation the Most High established, a faith built without the witnesses he appointed to guard his covenant. Your early church fathers led you into a faith without the witnesses, and you never realized that killing the witnesses was the same as crucifying the Messiah all over again, because he is the faithful witness of Revelation 1:5, and from Yahushua Messiah, who is the faithful witness, and the branch revealed in Zechariah 3:8. I will bring forth my servant, the branch. When you got rid of them, you got rid of him. Long before the apostles walked the earth, long before Rome ruled the nations, long before the assemblies of believers spread across the empire, a prophecy was spoken. Ezekiel heard the voice of the Most High thunder against Mount Seir. Because you said, "These two nations and these two countries shall be mine," though the Most High was there. Ezekiel 35:10. This was the seed, a spirit that looked at Israel and Judah and said, "They belong to me." A claim so bold it became blasphemy, speaking against the choice of the Most High. A spirit that wanted the covenant without the covenant people. A spirit that wanted the land without the heirs. A spirit that wanted the blessing without the obedience. A spirit that wanted the identity without the root. This was the spirit of Edom, the ancient rival of Jacob, and Ezekiel said it would rise again, not as a nation, but as a mindset, a theology, a system that would one day say, "We are the true Israel." And history would prove Ezekiel right. When the apostles were gone, Jerusalem was in ruins. Israel was scattered. The covenant people were despised by Rome. And in the great cities of the Roman Empire, new leaders rose. And the ancient seed of Ezekiel 35 began to sprout. Ignatius of Antioch urged believers to distance themselves from the Sabbath and anything that resembled Israel. Justin Martyr debated a Jewish believer named Trypho, and in that debate he declared, "We are the true Israel." He did not know it, but he was repeating the prophecy of Ezekiel 35. The seed was growing. Marcion rejected the Hebrew scriptures entirely. He created a Bible with no Israel, no covenant, no root. He did not know it, but he was watering the seed of Edom. Tertullian said Israel was rejected. Origen turned Israel into an allegory. Cyprian redefined the covenant community. Eusebius wrote history as if Rome had replaced Jerusalem. These men preached the Messiah, but they rejected his people. They inherited Rome's worldview. They inherited Greek philosophy. They inherited the empire's contempt for Israel. They inherited a culture that saw the covenant people as cursed, defeated, and irrelevant. So when they looked at Israel, they did not see the chosen nation. They saw a defeated one. When they looked at the commandments, they did not see covenant. They saw culture, something ethnic, something optional. When they looked at the prophets, they did not see continuity. They saw something to be replaced. Each one added soil, water, and sunlight to the seed Ezekiel warned about. Then came Constantine. He outlawed Passover on the biblical calendar. He ordered believers to separate from the detestable Israelites. He merged the church with imperial power. He replaced covenant identity with Roman identity. And the seed of Ezekiel 35 became a full-grown tree, a tree that said, "These two nations shall be mine," a tree that claimed the covenant without the covenant people, a tree that claimed the promises but rejected the very people who carried them, a tree that claimed the identity without the root, and prophecy began to unfold. When the nations embraced the spirit of Ezekiel 35, they created space for a counterfeit. In Revelation 11 shows the moment that counterfeit takes center stage. From the very beginning, the beast was already at work, a system opposing the covenant, a voice speaking against the law and the prophets, a power that always sought the inheritance that wasn't his. You see it in Herod, a ruler sitting on Israel's throne, claiming an inheritance that did not belong to him, and trying to destroy the one who did. And when the early Roman church leaders rose to shape the movement, they didn't break from that system, they inherited it. And out of that inheritance rose the counterfeit, the lamb-like beast. And this is why the people are deceived, because the system guiding them now is the very system their leaders embraced long before them. A lamb-like church, soft in appearance, clothed in gentleness, righteousness, even holiness. Yet the moment it speaks, its voice exposes it. For it does not echo the Lamb. It carries the sound of the dragon. It teaches what the dragon taught. It carries forward the same contempt for the covenant, the same rejection of the witnesses, the same desire to claim the promises while discarding the people those promises came through. And Revelation 11 shows a world shaped by that deception, a world that celebrates the silence of the witnesses, a world convinced it is defending truth while standing against the very ones the Most High sent. That is why Joel 3 comes, because in those days, the Most High calls the nations to account for scattering his people, for dividing his land, for selling his sons and daughters, for treating his inheritance like merchandise, for lifting themselves up against his covenant. But when you see the world rejoicing over the death of the witnesses, when you see the nations celebrating their silence, when you see the counterfeit system standing in the spotlight, understand what is unfolding behind the veil. The witnesses will rise. The judge has taken his seat. The nations are being summoned, and the deception that shaped the world is being brought into his courtroom. Then the breath of life enters them, and when they stand on their feet, great fear falls on all who see them, because the lie they trusted cannot survive the return of the truth they tried to kill. Share this, like this, subscribe, so you don't miss what comes next.